Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brother ScanNCut tips and tricks tutorial, you are going to learn how to create a project that's built into Canvas Workspace. Right now I'm using the web-based version of Canvas Workspace. I'm going to show you how to do it on the web-based version, and then I'm going to show you how to do the same exact thing on the installed version. I'm using a Windows 10 PC computer. Let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and log out of this Canvas Workspace. You can see my username is the Papered Chef, or just Papered Chef. I'm going to sign out so you can see what I see. So to get to this version of Canvas Workspace, this is the web-based version. You're going to type in Canvas Workspace. Okay, canvasworkspace.brother.com. When you get there, it's going to ask you to sign in. I have other tutorials on my channel about signing in to Canvas Workspace for the first time and registering your machine with your account. So I'm going to just click on, when I sign in, I'd like to check off that I want to stay logged in for 7 days. And I have a couple different accounts, but I'm just going to use the one called Papered Chef. And you can have more than one account with Canvas Workspace, but you can only register one machine at a time. I'm sorry, I should clarify that. I've registered all my machines with Papered Chef. Right now, they're all registered with Papered Chef. I can change back to my other account, but I would have to re-register my machines with that account. Okay, actually, I think 2 accounts. Anyway, regardless, let's not digress. So I'm logged in, and it says Papered Chef. Okay, so one question you might be asking yourself are, why are there 2 versions of Canvas Workspace to begin with? Why does Brother do that? Well, it has to do with software and compatibility. There's a lot of mobile devices that can't run full versions of software, and a lot of mobile devices that can't access the fonts on them. So this web-based version is going to work on your mobile devices. So it works okay. It works okay on the iPad better than a phone. I have used it from a phone, but I won't recommend it. But from an iPad, this web-based version works fine. Okay, so furthermore, because this is a web-based version, you're not going to have access to all the same projects, not as many. You're going to have access to the same projects, but not as many on the web-based version as you are on the installed version. So when you first open up Canvas Workspace, these are the projects that you'll see. They just appear in the order of what holidays are coming up, which holidays are coming up next. So right before Christmas time, we might have, we've seen more holiday projects, but now we're seeing, this is before, Easter and spring, we're seeing more spring projects. But it doesn't mean they're not there. They're just harder to find. You have to scroll to find them, or you can filter to find them. Okay, I just want to say that if you are using, let me just say you're in a new project for a second. If you're on this page, for example, and you're working on one of your projects, your current projects or a new project, and you want to get back to where you can find the Canvas Workspace projects, you just go to this one here. You go to Canvas Workspace icon, and that's where you're going to find the projects that are built in. Okay, so these are the built-in projects. Now let's filter, and I want to show you something. I want to show you a project that I have shown in my courses before, but I like this project so much and I use it all the time. And I like to keep my tutorials about things that I'm actually working on and, things I'm actually using. And I also wanted to pick a project that works both for this online version of canvasworkspace.brother.com, and I wanted to use one that also works on the installed version of Canvas Workspace. So that's why I chose this project. So to get to the project, I can either scroll and look for it, or I can click on the little filter button here. And I'm going to type in gift box. 2 words, gift box. And up comes 4 gift boxes. Now I'm in the web-based version, so my result yields 4 gift boxes. And you may be familiar with this dice box that we created back in one of my original courses years ago. I still use those boxes. They're wonderful cube boxes. And even with the dice, they're great for activities. But what we're going to do right now is this paper purse. I love this paper purse. I love it for so many reasons, but one is because it cuts out in one piece. So let's click on the paper purse. And it comes in two parts. I don't want to make the bow. If you want to make the bow, you would use the second part and cut that out in another color. I'm going to just take this first part. So click on it and you can open it up. You can import the parts, right? Or you can download the project, but you can just import the parts. So I want to do the first option, which is import the parts, so that they import onto my mat. Okay, now it's going to say it's going to be imported into the editing screen as a new design. And then it's telling me after I save it, it'll be part of my projects. If at this point I want to get the bows and get those bows, I would import again and put the bows on the mat. Okay, I want to point out a couple things here before we move on. It's important to understand what you're seeing here so that you can understand what's going to cut and what's going to score. So let me zoom in to, let's say, 75%. Okay. Those little dashed lines are called score lines in the Brother ScanNCut. It doesn't properly score in that, well, we do have an embossing starter kit. As you can see, I've installed that embossing kit, the line embossing, region embossing. There is a score tool you can add, and there is a foam mat. But for all intents and purposes, the Brother ScanNCut does not score. It just does dashed lines. It doesn't score the same way a scoreboard would. Okay, so you have dashed lines, which work fine for this particular project, and this project holds together really well. But sometimes perforations in cards make the cards sort of fall apart. But I think for boxes, this kind of scoring is fine. So you don't have to change tools or anything. It just cuts the solid lines in black, and then it will score by going chung, 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 like ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. It's making dashed lines. It's lifting the blade and moving it back down to cut little perforated lines. So that's what you're seeing here. This little black circles are black lines. And again, this is just wonderful because this paper purse cuts out in one piece. So let's do a couple things. We can name it if we want, because it is going to save it as one of our projects. So you can name it paper purse, or my all caps are stuck on paper purse, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and so I'm naming it, and you can, when you want, if you make any changes to it, like say I move it over here to the right side of my mat, for example, this black line is the project itself and what's going to cut, and the red dashed line is the part of the mat where you should keep your design. Okay, that's the red line. It's trying to keep your design in those red lines so that when you transfer it, it cuts out properly. So if you do make a change like I just did, then you would click on overwrite this project. Okay, and that means that I've saved it as the paper purse, but then I moved it around and I saved it again. All right, so now I want to point out a couple things because I have you here on this video and I like to give you extras for you to think about. Okay, extra things. I already explained part of the reason that you have two versions of Canvas Workspace, and I alluded to the part about the text. Okay, so if you wanted to customize your paper purse, which I don't in this tutorial, I have done this in other tutorials, but if I wanted to customize this paper purse, I'm going to click on the text tool. And this is what I'm limited to because I'm on the online version. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, less than 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 fonts. There's 20 fonts. That's it. You'd have no choice. These are your 20 fonts. More than your machine, more than that are installed in your machine, right? So that's good. And you could, but there's less than, when I say your machine, let me just clarify. There are more fonts on this left panel than are installed on your actual Brother ScanNCut machine for the most part. Or in some ScanNCuts have more fonts installed. But there's less than you can access through the installed version of Canvas Workspace. Okay, I'm not gonna customize my box right now. That's a whole other tutorial for drawing and et cetera, et cetera. But I do teach that in my courses, and I'll give you a little sneak peek. All right, so the other thing I want to say, let me zoom back out before we send this to our machine, is if you're ever wondering, like you're following along with me and you're like, what version is she using and why does my screen not look like hers? Again, I'm using the web-based version, and I'm going to go up to the help menu, the little question mark, and I'm going to show you the version I'm using. I'm using Canvas Workspace for the web 4.3.0. Okay, so when you log in to your account, you can see what I'm seeing and go, in your web browser. I'm using the Google Chrome web browser. You can use, of course, Edge, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Mozilla, all kinds, even the Safari, whatever you want to use. Just open up a web browser. Okay, so now we're done, and now we're going to transfer this to our machine. So we're going to transfer this to cut it out. So we're going to click on download, and now we're going to select Scan and Cut Transfer. Okay, so now I'm going to show you now how to do this while I have you on this video. So what I'm going to do now is just show you how to use the PC-based version of Canvas Workspace to do the same exact thing, and then I'll kind of compare what that version does, and then I'm going to go to my machine and show you how to retrieve the files. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. So right now there's one file that you can get off of your machine, and that's the last file that you transferred. Okay, so let's take a break, not take a break, but we're gonna use another software, another version of Canvas Workspace. Okay, so to get to this version of Canvas Workspace, you're going to go to support.brother.com. Click enter, product search. It really doesn't matter what machine you put in because the software is all the same, but go ahead and type in the name of one of your machines or your only machine. This is just the SDX 125. Again, it doesn't matter. Same version, works with all of the software. The software works with all the different machines. So, all the ones that are wirelessly enabled will work seamlessly for what I'm showing you. So now it's going to say what Windows platform do you have. I'm using Windows 10. What version? You click OK. And now it's saying, not this one. Don't be confused with the machine software. It's not that we want. You want to scroll down to the Canvas Workspace software. And the most current version of Canvas Workspace right now is 2.5.0. Okay, again, I've shown you how to install this and register your machine in other tutorials. But let's just say you've downloaded it, you've installed it, you've launched it, and this is what you're going to see. This is the installed version of Canvas Workspace. It looks way different than the web-based version. You're not in the web-based version because you can't see a web browser address. There's no address up there. There's no address bar. You're not on the internet right now. Well, you are, but behind the scenes, it's called a tethered program. You do have to log into this program, but you're not actually browsing the web right now. Okay, so let's go to, you're in this Canvas Workspace version. You're going to go to Help, About Canvas Workspace, and you're using version 2.5.0, the one you just downloaded. You can download it on a Mac or a PC. Okay, but you can't use this on mobile devices. Okay, you cannot use this version on mobile devices. So let's go to the projects. When you open up your screen, you're going to see Untitled, and you want to get to the projects, and you're going to go to Canvas. This icon up here, Canvas Project Pattern Collection. Okay, these are your built-in projects. Now, look how many different ones you're presented with. Well, you can't really tell unless you actually go back and compare like I did, but you're presented with a lot more here on the installed version than you are on the web-based version. It doesn't mean you can't find them all. It's just that maybe they're not all there, but they're just presented differently. But if you search for gift box, you actually have more options here in the Canvas Workspace for the PC version. So let's do the search, and we're going to type in gift box again. Now, for this and many reasons, I like using this installed version because I have way more options. Remember when we used the web-based version and I typed in gift box and only 4 options came up? Now look, we have all these different boxes that came up. And I'm going to scroll down to the paper purse, which again, I've been using for years. It's in there. So here's gift box. I know for a fact a lot of these are on the web-based version because this one's in one of my courses, this milk carton. I have used a lot of these in my courses before and in my tutorials. Okay, so anyway, let's not digress here. Gift box. We're going to go down to the gift box with the paper purse one. Click on it. Okay, now you're just going to double click. Just double click and you're going to wonder where'd it go, because this screen stays up. So when you double click, it is on your mat. You can either single or double click, but it's on your mat back there. Watch. It doesn't seem like you did. So you click on it again and it keeps going onto your mat. But it actually is back there. You need to minimize this, and there it is. But if you keep clicking like I used to do, it goes on your mat many times. All right, so one thing I love about this installed version of Canvas Workspace is the layers panel over here. So you have different panels. The layers panel is top notch because over here, I can see all these different shapes. I can turn on and off the visibility, turn on and off different parts, and see exactly how this was designed and made. Okay, they spent a lot of time designing it, and you can actually see all the different parts and all the different segments. So like when you turn that off, you can actually see, when I turn off the background, or the actual box itself, I can see the score lines. Let me zoom in so you can see the score lines. Let's go at about 50%, and you can see the score lines when I turn off the actual part that's going to cut. This is also the place you can group and ungroup and do things like that. But let me point out something that's very awesome about using the Canvas Workspace version. When you click on the text panel, you're going to see all of the fonts installed on your computer. And I have shown in my courses, several courses, especially working with fonts, how to install fonts on your computer. But look at all these choices. So you have many more options for fonts to put in, to customize your boxes and things. But not only that, here's a really fun one, Jokerman. But not only that, you can also do what's called fitting a text to a path and curving your text and doing many other things. Okay, so I'm just letting you know that there's many more options for font and text when you're using the installed base version. And of course, over here, this text becomes another layer that you can manipulate independently. So let's delete that because we're not sending that to our machine. I like to move things around before I send them to my machine, and move that to the top right. So now I'm going to say File, Save As. Always save your file. Paper, I wrote plastic purse. Let's just say paper. You can actually cut these out in Mylar and other materials as well. But we're going to be cutting this out in paper. So now we have it. We have our project. We're going to send it to our machine. We're going to go to File, Export, Transfer FCM file via the internet. Okay, now in the next part of the tutorial, I'll show you how to retrieve this file, cut it, assemble the box, and show you something that I put in my sample. Thank you. Now I would like to show you how to retrieve this cutting file that you just sent from your machine to your ScanNCut. I would like to show you how to retrieve it and cut it. So you're going to go to, this is a CM model, by the way. This is a CM350 or ScanNCut 2. So this is how you do it on CM models, CM series. So you're going to go to Pattern, and you're going to go to this button here, Retrieve File from the Cloud. See the little cloud pointing to your machine? So you want to retrieve the file. It's going to retrieve the last file you sent to your machine. There it is. And now you're going to click OK, and you're going to cut it. Okay, and these are all cutting lines, even the one that's stashed. You're going to cut it, and you're going to start, and it's going to take 2 minutes. I've already cut it, so we'll get back to that in a minute. There's a box I've already cut out. Let's do this on the STX 125. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, I just want to show you how to do the same thing. Let me just move that machine out of the way. I had to unplug it to get it to move out of the way. All right, so go to Home button. This is now the STX model. So it doesn't matter which STX model you have. This is the STX 125. This is how you retrieve files from STX models. You're going to go to Retrieve Data. And now it's asking, do you want to retrieve it from the machine? Okay, do you want to retrieve it from Canvas Workspace? That's this option. From USB or from the cable. We want to retrieve it wirelessly because that's the way I just transferred it, wirelessly. And there's the file. Okay, so if you're wondering, you can transfer files to multiple machines. Yes, you see how I just did that. I just a minute ago transferred it from Canvas Workspace using the PC version, it doesn't matter which version. This, when you retrieve a file, it's going to retrieve the last file that you sent over from Canvas Workspace. And you can only send over one file at a time. That's why it's a good option to use a USB stick, because with a USB stick or a thumb drive, you can actually put multiple files on it, bring it over to your machine, and then you can have multiple files all at once. You can access multiple files. All right, so then you would cut it. You click OK, and you click Cut, and you would cut it. Now, when you're cutting with the STX model of machine, it has what's called auto blade technology. So you just let it cut. It knows what pressure to use. It knows what speed to use. It uses the default values, and it just cuts out. But when you're using, let me move this over. When you're using this CM model, let me just make sure I'm still in focus. Focus that. When you're using this model, you're going to change the blade depth for designer series paper. So let me go. Now I can turn on my light. Let me turn on my light. I couldn't do it when you're looking at the settings of the machine because of the glare. Okay, so you're going to go up to 12 blade depth, right? And then you're going to move it back down to 3. Okay, so you're going to do a blade depth of 3 for designer series paper when you're using the CM models or any model where you have to set your blade depth when you don't have an auto blade. So now we've cut our cute little paper purse, and I'm going to remove the excess paper. Now I would have normally I would have made that one's just a little stuck in there. I don't know what happened there, but that's okay. That really happens. One little piece got stuck, but that really does happen. So I just used my paper, my scissors to get that one little piece that got stuck. And it could be many reasons, like maybe there's paper. Yep, I can see it. There's paper stuck in my blade holder. Yep, I can see the little piece of paper that got stuck in the blade holder. All right. Anyway, so I can fix that. So when you take off your paper, I just want to explain, like while you're in the design phase, whether you're in your machine or whether you're in Canvas Workspace, you could have cut out extra candy wrappers and things with these extra scraps of paper, tags. Okay, so you don't have to like waste all this paper. Definitely save all these scraps and do something with them. But what I want to show you now is just how to remove this from the mat. So you can bend the mat a little bit and things come off pretty easily if the mats are not very sticky. But you can also get under there with your spatula. You should always get under there with your spatula, especially around the areas where there's perforations. Because if you don't get under there with a spatula, you could rip the areas that are perforated. So what I need to do is that one little section, see that one little section? Like right there, I need to get my paper snips, which are always handy, and just snip. I don't know what happened there. Like I said, a little piece, oh, I do know what happened. A little piece of paper got stuck in there. Come on, come on, come on, come out wherever you are. Come out, paper. So a little bit of paper gets, when you do a big cut like this, you know, a little bit of cotton meaning fiber from the paper, got stuck in there. Okay, so it's released. Release me. All right, that can be our theme song. Release me. So there's our paper purse. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to tilt my camera a little bit and show you how to assemble it. The paper purse, and show you my finished project and a card that goes with it. So let's take these are perforation lines or score lines, and you're going to fold along all the score lines, and then so we have 4 there, and then we have some on the side. So we have these score lines on the side. Those are the only score lines. This may look like a score line, but it's not. It's a curve. This one's a curve, so don't score this one unless you really want it to be angular. But this is a curve, so you don't need to score that one. Also, don't score up here on the neck of the purse because that's a curve, which is another reason I totally love this. Now, see, this would be the front because of the way the popsicles are facing up, so I'd make that the front. And then you see how you can assemble the inside. You're going to go like that. Okay, and then like that. I just absolutely love this cutting file. I use it all the time. Okay, whenever I need a quick little gift holder. Okay, and then you're going to go like that. Okay, and then you're going to shut it like this. See this little flap? It goes like that. See? It kind of has a little notch. How cool is that, right? But then you put a little, then you can also put a little ribbon on it for good measure. Oops, like that's what I did for mine, because this doesn't really hold it. Maybe a glue dot ribbon, but that's what I did. I used a little ribbon. Okay, and that's your little cute purse. Isn't that great? So here's the finished project. Here's the finished project. You're so cool. Okay, and it has, I put some little, I used some just little stitch things and some little die cuts for the sentiment. And I have this Blackberry Bliss striped ribbon, because it goes with, I'm using the Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper. I should have mentioned that. I'm using Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper. You're going to see why, because of the theme for this gift I put inside. It's all about packaging. You can give the simplest little gifts, but when you package them up cutely, when you package them up cute, then they mean so much more. And there is my little gift. And it is an ice cream cone pencil sharpener. So I'll link to the box of these where I found these. See, I'm just getting started on this project. Look how fun these are. Okay, so ice cream cone pencil sharpener, and you can also put other things in it, like you can put little mini candies. I'm just showing you different ideas. Mini Tic Tacs. I sell those at thepaperedchef.com, little Tic Tac kits. Okay, you can even put these in there, but these kind of got tight. These were like these are the sprinklers. Ice cream corner sprinkles, I mean. But I would have to make I think I have to make the purse, or actually, it's actually not too tight if I take them out of here. But if I'm shipping them, I definitely want to keep them in that extra bag. But they fit in just fine, the sprinkles. You know, when you're not putting them in a bag. But I would make the purse a little bit bigger, and you can do that inside of Canvas Workspace. And then you can give that kind of gift. You can give candy gifts. I mean, even roll up a little pair of socks in there. I mean, there's so much you can put in this little box. Okay, lastly, I made a little card. So this is just a card. Let's see if I use my scan. I didn't use my ScanNCut for this card, but this is just also the Ice Cream Corner Suite. I used what's Ice Cream Builder Punch. But on my channel, I showed how to use embossing paste to make the sprinkles stick onto the ice cream cones, and how to use decorative mask for coloring and things like that. So that just kind of goes along with the card. And that's about it. So I just want to end by a little sneak peek of what you'll see in the course. Making boxes and envelopes course. I do have these. This is a built-in project from Canvas Workspace. And this is one of the projects I customized by resizing it a bit and made these Mother's Day boxes. And I have some others that I also personalized. This is another built-in Canvas Workspace project, and this is personalizing egg. So you're going to get to see more of these projects in my next upcoming course on Udemy, which should be ready in March 2021, in case you're watching this later, this tutorial. All right, that's all for now. This is the Papered Chef. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to create a built-in project from Canvas Workspace, how to assemble it, how to retrieve the file, how to assemble it, and what to do with it once you assemble it. Okay, so those are some ideas for you. Hope you'll go ahead and give this a try, and I'd like to see what you come up with yourself. Thank you. This is the Papered Chef.